Hi, it's me, Mystical McKay. Welcome back. Today is Tarot Tuesday. Woo! Back at it again. Welcome. I am Mystical McKay, and so far for the past 3 weeks, I've been doing Tarot Tuesday, which is where we pick a tarot card and an angel card to give us some divine message as to how we should approach this current and upcoming week in order to give us a little bit of guidance on the things to be aware of, the things to work on, and the things to also avoid in a certain sense. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I pulled this card on Sunday, 2 days ago, and it was new for me. It's kind of a twist of cards that we have. Sorry, my book just fell down. It's kind of a different vibe from the past 3 cards that we've gotten. All of them were reversed, for one thing, which is a little odd. This is our first upright card this week, and it is the Knight of Wands. Look at him. The Knight of Wands. Just kind of give it a nice look, and really, when you first look at this card, notice what's the first thing that really pops out to you. Do you see the knight himself first? Did you see the horse first? Maybe you saw like the barren landscape behind him. Really ask yourself what reaches out to you more, right? And then our angel card is the Emperor, which those are actually really 2 fantastic cards to have right alongside each other. I'll go into a little bit more description as to why later, but right now we're just going to get into the Knight of Wands. Here we go. Knight of Wands. Let's look into the symbolism behind the illustrations before we jump into anything else. So here, obviously you can see a knight. He's dressed up, full armor, not like an inch of his skin is really being revealed. He's hot and ready to what looks like begin to take a treacherous journey somewhere. And he's got this nice little floofy red floofy hat thing on top of his head that kind of, I think, symbolizes the fact that he has like a busy mind. Whenever the color red is kind of around the headspace, his thoughts are racing, and they might be in a little bit of an disorganized manner, or they might just be coming like really, really quick. So he's got to like filter through them very quickly. Other than that, he's dressed in like, it looks like kind of like a tunic or a robe that's yellow, which is a very awesome color. It's one of my favorite colors. And it symbolizes inspiration, like inspired action, I feel like, 'cause it's a very light, shiny color. And if you look close enough, actually, his robe is decorated with the pattern of salamanders. Do you think about salamanders? They're almost kind of like the tiny dinosaurs of the world, you know? They're quick and speedy and calculated. Like, you never really see a salamander like getting cornered somewhere, just because of how like quick and determined they usually are. So that's the whole energy of this particular character himself. He is very motivated, and he's aware that he's on a journey, and he's more than willing to take on the responsibility. He's more than willing to take on the challenges that go along with taking on a new challenge. And he's almost like all for it. He's almost might even be a little bit for the drama, because he's like, whatever happens, you know, like it's the image of this like almost adolescent, this young adult person who's really just trying to figure out who they are, what they want, and once they have that figured out, then they're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get on my horse and get on it, right? So that's the energy of him. He's obviously holding a wand. Wands are the representation of the fire element and the zodiacs of the Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. This card actually is, because it's in the wands, it is fire, and I think it more represents the Sagittarius, since he's on the horse. But also because it's, you know, he's like in armor and he's all armored up. Thank you so much for the cheers. There's an element of air to it, and I believe it's in Gemini. There's this sense of, you know, you need to focus. This is a card where he's prepared himself mentally, emotionally, and physically for this journey that he's on. That's why he's covered in armor. You can tell that he is well equipped mentally and physically for this journey that he's about to embark on. And he's riding this beautiful brown horse, which also gives us more, obviously, of the Sagittarius vibes. This horse is like in midair. He's literally in the point where it's like a horse, like right before it just starts bolting, he just kind of, you know, he raises his upper half and he's only got his hind legs on the ground because he's ready to just bolt. And that's totally what this card is about. It's about very quick action being taken. To a degree that it could, in a sense, be almost impulsive if you don't watch out. But for the most part, it's this person who really does feel like they are ready. They have everything they need to get going. And then other than that, we can see, let's see, is there anything else? Everything else is really just, as you can see in the background, it's a wasteland. Like, there's no sign of life, really. It's just a very sandy desert with some very sandier mountains in the back, which I think is a little bit of symbolism of realizing that obviously from where you are right now, you're not going to flourish. So it's time to move into a different... This card is a lot about travel, but in a sense it could even be more about changing your own perspective about yourself and your having a complete changing directions as to where your mind goes to, I think. So it's more of a, in a sense, it could be, I don't know. I don't know if you can really say that it's more of the other. It could either mean that you're actually physically moving somewhere from a place of scarcity to more abundance, or you're doing that in a more mental state of mind thing. I mean, you have to do that before you can have it manifest. So, yes. So that is the symbolism, I think, behind this card for the most part. I don't think there was really anything else that we really left out. Let me see. So, as you can see, obviously this week's card is leaning more towards the positive. There isn't really any too big of the shadow sides with this card. I'm just gonna make sure that I said everything about the images is so, every single symbol really means something, so I just want to make sure that I got every single thing. I don't think there was anything else that I left off. Okay, so we have it in upright. These are the key words that are associated when you pull this card. Keep in mind that this is going to be our card for this whole remainder of the week. So you could compare this to how the last 2 days have been for you, or something to also keep in mind in the following days. So the key words for this card is being impulsive, being hasty, being rebellious, having a little bit of that teen rebellion that most people go through, being hot-tempered, taking risks, having really high energy, taking on challenges, being free-spirited, courageous, adventurous, sexy, charming, fearless, having a heroic action, being determined, going through foreign travel, leadership, passion, inspiration, bravery, confidence, warmth, a shameless flirt, success, being swept off their feet, being open-minded, focused action, moving, being a revolutionary, excitement, being witty, spontaneous, and embracing change. Whew! Yikes. So I feel like that gives a really good brief description of just how this card goes about its business, because you really want to think about like some guy in his mid-20s, you know, he's just right now trying to like figure out how the world works, and he's kind of a flirt, and he's kind of, you know, he just gets into things. I really think about like Finn the Human from Adventure Time. I don't know if you guys ever got into that, but you kind of like, we got to kind of watch him grow up into an adult, and that's what this card reminds me of a little bit. I see like Finn, and he could be like riding Jake or something like that. He's like this young adolescent boy who still has a little bit of maturing to do, you know, to a certain degree, but he's not the Page of Wands. He's the Knight. So he's got a little bit of, you know, head on his shoulders. So, for this week, this is a good sign for us to, in this week, think about moving forward and how to really make your dreams a reality. That's the main thing about this card, is this dude has done what he's needed to do to become a knight. That's another thing about the court cards. This is our first court card, so I've never really delved too much into what those mean, but I'm now learning the significance behind them and how they represent different levels of maturity within somebody's social group. And so when you're in the Knights, you're in that stage where you're not quite, you know, the king by any means, but you are the son of the king, and you are in the footsteps of someone with great authority, and you want to, you know, build yourself up to be in that position yourself. So that's kind of how it feels. He's on this journey. He's like, I'm here to find myself, and I'm ready to go. Try me, world. So it says that if you're working on doing anything creatively this week, this is a very good sign to get started. Whether it is you're just, you know, starting some stuff on Instagram, or you're creating your own business, this is a good time to get that ball rolling. Things might actually start going a lot better than you expected. You might start gaining more of a following quicker than you initially anticipated, or you could start making more money out of nowhere. You're like, what the heck? Because you started putting your heart more into things. This is usually a sign that you are someone who has a very clear vision on what you want to create, and it's fueled by inspiration. Hell yeah. He's holding that wand. It's time to venture into the unknown in order to move into your dreams. This is an adventure, and the gift of growth and expansion waits on the other side. You feel like you can take on the world. People think you're hot, and watch out for acting compulsive. So, yeah, I didn't do a lot of research on this card. I'm going to be quite honest, because when I first saw it, I was just like, I feel this, and I'm almost embodying the energy of like, okay, I got to get started on all of these things. I feel I resonate with this card a lot. how I've been feeling the past couple days, honestly. But this might resonate with you more if we get into the more specific readings, depending on what happens to you this week. So, in a love reading, if this card affects you during your love life this week, it might look a little bit like this. If you're coupled, you may be with someone who is embodying these qualities. This could be a sign that your relationship is very exciting and you actually put the work into each other in order to make it actually successful. Like, you don't just, when something's bothering you, don't just stay quiet about it and don't mention it. You actually do the work so that you guys can show up for each other and be the best versions of each other. Congratulations. If you have somebody like this in your relationship, you got it made, honestly. This week, take the time to see if you can spend more time with each other, maybe traveling or doing something exciting together. Why not? Thank you for the cheers. Thank you guys very, very much. If you're single and we've gotten this card this week and you're kind of feeling a little lonely, good for you. You might meet someone this week who embodies these qualities as well. You just got to keep your eyes peeled open. You may be the knight yourself. You may be confident, free-spirited, and self-assured, which is an irresistibly sexy trait. Your charm will attract someone new through work or maybe travel. Be prepared. So yeah, with this card, I feel like this has been hitting me hard a little bit. Like, I don't have very much of a big social life, and I feel like this card is really telling me personally, myself, that it is time to not be such of a hermit. Like, you can only grow so far in the confinements of your own bedroom. And in order to expand your dreams, you have to venture off into new horizons, which can be scary, but it's all worth it. Okay, so with money and career, it could signify that this week you might be experiencing a change of your job. You might feel inspired to launch a business. Maybe you've just come upon some recent work challenge that actually kind of feels like it is exciting to take on and not so much of like a this again. Like, you're actually kind of like, what can I do with this? It's a good omen for starting any form of self-employment this week. You're full of energy and ambition and ready to take on the next step towards your own dream job. Make sure to take it slow, though. Don't rush yourself. Feeling a desire to break free from your routine, this might involve work-related travel. Expect to start receiving good bits of money this week. Watch out for overspending, though. And in health, a health reading, it's a good omen if you've been wondering whether or not you should be taking action on taking better care of yourself. This week is encouraging you to do that. Find the foods and find the activities that really make you feel like your best self. See if you can cultivate some kind of new form of physical exercise that might not even be seen as exercise because it just feels like play. That's how you know you got it made, when you got something going on like that. Be mindful and take your time when you're in the process of doing something. This card moves very, very quickly. This guy, he's gonna probably reach his destination very, very quickly. So it's important to, this week, remember whatever it is that you are doing, give it your conscious attention. Try not to multitask if you can. Whatever you're doing, give that your 100% dedicated attention because it's going to go by so quickly. You want to make sure that you have all the cement paved, before you step in it and it's still wet. That makes no sense. Anyway, spiritually speaking, this could mean that this week you might have discovered a new spiritual practice or teaching, and it's just had you enthralled in it, and you're just in the completely I remember how this feels when you first start to wake up and everything's just so new around you and you're seeing everything with a new pair of eyes. That can be what this feels like, because you're running through untreaded waters, you're experiencing everything for the first time, and you're like, oh my gosh, you don't have any resentments or built up, past experiences about it, because it's your first taste of everything, and it can be very, very exciting, and it can also be very, very overwhelming. So make sure to ground yourself if you're feeling like you might be going off the deep end this week. But overall, I think that this reading with this card this week is a wonderful, very beautiful message, just kind of letting us know that, girl, we've come a long way. There's a lot to do, and I can tell that you have the drive and the motivation to get what you need done in order to embrace and be of service to yourself and humanity as well. How exciting. And alongside that, we got, thank you, our angel card that goes along with this so well. So our tarot card was the Knight of Wands, and our angel card was actually the Emperor, which is kind of like the king. And the top of the card with Archangel Uriel, it says stability and efficiency, taking charge of a situation with ambitious plans. And these go so well together, right? This is almost kind of like giving us another reminder of how this guy's behaviors can sometimes be a little hasty and impulsive. Meanwhile, the Emperor himself is very precise about his work and everything he does. It has its sturdy plans, and he knows when he's going to do something and how he's going to do it. He's stable. And I'll read a little bit more about it in this book. Leadership can change everything. This card may mean that it's time for you to be a leader to those around you, or it may indicate that you would greatly benefit from a counsel of a skilled mentor who can give you invaluable advice. Archangel Uriel can provide you with a brilliant new idea on how to best be a success. Creativity is a wonderful thing, but without logic, it can be chaos. What you need right now is a little organization and order. A few guidelines or rules will help you bring your dreams to life in the most efficient and elegant way possible. This is not meant to limit you, but to help you feel empowered and in control of the direct plans that you are taking. Additional meaning of this card is encouraging and a diplomatic leader, ambitious plans, stability, a promotion, protection, authoritative figures, and parental role models. Archangel Uriel is the angel of great ideas and epiphanies. His name means the light of God, and truly, he can help light your way towards success. When you can't quite see your way clearly, he is able to give you moments of revelation that seem to come out of nowhere. Ask Archangel Uriel for assistance whenever you have a project or challenge where a creative solution is called for. How cool. I feel like those go so well together. It's a big week. I feel like it's the card that we got last week was the Four of Wands reversed, which was kind of all about accomplishing something, doing something, and in a sense, not feeling proud enough to really own it and be like, okay, I'm doing this. It was an uncomfortable shift. And this is somewhat the aftermath, I think, of that uncomfortable shift where you're kind of like, okay, this is happening regardless of whether or not I desire to resist it with all of my being. Instead, I'm going to choose to harness its power, recognize that this is something that's going to serve me this next adventure, whether or not it, is really positive or not. Expansion is on the other side of whatever experience happens this week for all of us. So it's an exciting time. I think it's important to stay open, to be open, be more open than we have been probably for a really long time, to have kind of like that naive positivity that comes when you're just like a young, stupid adult, going on adventures and fucking shit up, That's the energy of it. So if we can try to embody that without, falling into the shadow aspects of this week, I think we can end up having a lot of fun and experiencing some connections with people that we would have never even thought we'd be open to experiencing, honestly. And that was my reading of this week's card. I know it wasn't the most extensive reading. I didn't spend enough time on this card this week, I don't think, at all. But I did my best in this short amount of time. And I really like the Knight of Wands. I'm excited to learn more about the court cards, all the kings and the queens and the pages. But anyway, before we log off, I would like to share the strange mixture of songs that were playing on my, was it my YouTube? I don't know if it was my YouTube or my Spotify, but I was listening to music, and I noticed that whenever I listen to music and set the attention that I only want to hear music in resonance with the tarot card of the week, I start getting songs in resonance with the tarot card of the week. So I'm going to list off all of the songs. There's not very many. And if one reaches out to you, I want you to look it up and listen to the lyrics at least, or watch the music video and see if that resonates with you. Or you can go on my YouTube channel and listen to the entire playlist. It'll be under the Knight of Wands theme song. Knight of Wands songs. These are so funny. Don't You Want Me by the Human League. Never Forget by Take That. Pocket Full of Sunshine by Natasha Bedingfield. Work It by Missy Elliott. Don't Hold the Wall by Justin Timberlake. Oops, I Did It Again. Britney. Dance Tonight by Lucy Pearl. Beyond the Gray Sky by 311 or 311. Coyotes, or 311, oh my gosh. Coyotes by Jason Mraz. K by Cigarettes After Sex. Fergalicious by Fergie. 1-2 Step by Ciara. The Climb by Miley Cyrus. Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. And I'm Your Man by George Michael. And those are the tarot cards for this week. King of Wands, Knight of Wands, I just said King, Knight of Wands, and the Emperor. So kind of the King of Wands, but not. Just a simple reminder, have fun. Find something that really sparks your passion and your creative side. That is what the wands are all about, bringing your deep, deep, deep desires into the world and bringing them to manifest. It's such an exciting and beautiful card, and we don't want to take advantage. We don't want to, not even take advantage, we don't want to miss the opportunity that comes when this card shows up. So I hope you have a lovely week and you say yes to something that you've never said yes to before. And I hope it takes you down a whole new rabbit hole. Me too. I need it. Alright, y'all. Thank you so very, very, very much. Thank you for the gifts. If anybody came in and followed, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this is a little messy. I'm doing my best trying to share all the information that I can about the things that I love. So if you got something out of it, thank you. And I hope to see you again. Love you. Happy Tarot Tuesday.